What's up, everybody? Master Reactor here, and today I have a crazy replay. Crazy shit that happened. So first of all, I will show the deck that I am playing. This is the Brew. We've got a BLS, a Breaker, 2 Chaos Sorks, 3 Deco, 3 Faith, just going all the way out on it. Double Night Assailant, Sanguine, Sinister, Triple Thunder Dragon, Tribe, and Tsukiyomi, 19 monsters, 11 traps, and 11 spells, and 10 traps. Got a card destruction, a duo, graceful, heavy, MST, double knock, pot of greed, snatch steal, double upstart, triple jar of greed, mirror force, double wing blast, ring, and triple solemn. Just going for it. For the side deck, I have 2 Berserk Gorillas for the warrior matchup, and maybe against Monster Gate OTK if I want to get a little aggressive, because they do summon Air Knight and shit, so you can just poke over their Air Knight sometimes. Death Wombat for burn shit. King Tiger for goat control. And Panda Burn as well. It does fuck over the tokens. Kaiku for the mirror match. Bring this guy in. You can bring him in for warriors too. Crashes with ninjas. I have a Mobius for burn and sometimes against warriors if I feel froggy. I have a mind control for the mirror. I don't have a lot for the mirror though, is the problem. I have double Mystic Walk for burn, triple Saku for the warrior, and 1 Trench tribute. Okay, that is the list. That is the Brew. And that is Big If True. And then this is Big If True. Duelinghigh 101, 15-17. Wow, way up there. 13 points away from second. Third place, really up there. So now we will go to the duel records here. Let's see how many times I've won. Let's check it out, check it out, check it out. Step right out and check it out. Step right up and check it out. I've won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in a row after losing twice today. So I started out losing twice, which was bad. And then I just capitalized and came back and made it probably a little bit of points. Because that's what, 60 points there. And that's what, 23, 38, 50 plus 34 is 84. So, yeah, I made about 20 points after losing them. So, that was good. And the replay is against jjstokes. So, let's check it out. I throw paper, he throws rocks. So, okay. Really good start here. Get to go first. Awesome. Love to see it. Okay, I open Tsukiyomi, Card Destruction, Chaos Sword, Breaker, Tribe, and Knock. Now, this hand is very ass. There's really, like, it's just trash. Like, going first, it's really bad. It's like, what do you want to do? You want to set Tsukiyomi? Do you want to, you know, like, summon Breaker, set Tribe as a bluff, maybe just fire Card Destruction, get a brand new 5? That's actually what I was thinking about doing. But instead, I just passed. He's got Duo, Desert Sunlight, Thunder Dragon that he just drew, Card Destruction, Snatch Steal, and Premature Burial. So this man is on some crazy shit. Crazy type shit. But if it works, it works. So he decides to play Delinquent Duo, which sucks for me, but it's fine. He gets my Card Destruction, which is fine, and I throw out Tsukiyomi. And he just passes. I draw into Solemn Judgment, so not that great, and I just pass again. I don't even set the Solemn. He draws into a Spy, which is nice for him. So he decides to set Spy and set Desert Sunlight and pass. I draw into Chaos Sork, another fucking brick, can't draw shit. I decide to summon Breaker first instead of knocking first. There's like reasons why you do which one first, but the obvious play is just summon Breaker first. Not to get, maybe he's setting Torrential or some shit. I could just save my knock. And that actually does happen because I break and he decides to chain Desert Sunlight. So I do get to save my knock because if I knocked first, he would have Desert Sunlighted. Maybe then I could have saved my Breaker. So, it's like 50, you don't know. But anyways, that's what I decided to do. And I set Solemn and just pass. He draws into a Regeki Break. He sets the Regeki Break and just passes. I draw into another Solemn, so now I have double Solemn. I decide to set Solemn and then run Tribe out. Discard the Chaos Sork, and I just decide to try to get through his spies, because I gotta get to work somehow to try to get some life. Hit him for 1600, and he just takes it. and I just pass. He draws into a Magician of Faith, which is pretty nice. But I do have this knock. So he premature burials and gets the Thunder Dragon, and then he just goes to battle and crashes. And he sets the Faith and just passes. I draw into Night Assailant, which is okay. I fire the knock. No flip effects in the graveyard, which sucks. It is a Faith, so all 3 of my Faiths are going, which is really bad because that's 3 of my lights. And I'm only on like 7 lights in this deck. 3 and 3 with a BLS. And he draws Upstart. He upstarts into Morphing Jar, which is pretty interesting. He sets Snatch Steal and sets Morphing Jar, and then he card destructions me. I draw on the duo. He draws Pot of Greed and Jinzo. He fires Pot of Greed. I say okay. And he decides to set Call of the Haunted and just pass. He decides to Regeki Break, throw out his Jinzo, and I decide just to Solemn Judgment. And I say, screw it. Let's just Solemn it. I got to keep my boy around because I got nothing else going for me right now. So I just Solemn to keep my Night Assailant. I flip the Night Assailant and pop. If I would have known that it was Morphing Jar, maybe I wouldn't have did that. I would have said, screw it, and let him flip the jar on me. And it would have been way better. But instead, I decided to Solemn it. So I popped that shit, and then I decided to Duo, get rid of his tribe. And I hit him for 200. And I set 1, and he end-phase Called the Haunted. And I decided to Solemn because I figure we're both top decking here. So, I mean, he has to, like, draw something. He draws into Heavy Storm. He decides to set the Heavy and pass. I draw into a Deco. So I decide just to Heavy, so now he has nothing. I set the Deco and just pass. Maybe I should have summoned the Deco, but it's fine. He draws into Breaker, which is a really good draw for him right now because he has no monsters, and you drew a monster. He hits the Night Assailant. I draw into Wing Blast, which sucks. I flip Deco and draw into Jar of Greed. Now this is where it's like iffy. I should have maybe did something different here, but I set both of them, and I just passed. He draws into a Knock. He decides to knock and hit my Wing Blast, which sucks. Which would hit the other one. And then he runs over the Deco for 200, sets knock and passes. I decide to end phase Jar of Greed into Snatch Steal and Deco. And this is again where I misplayed because I should have just... I did Snatch Steal, but I should have just ran Deco out here and said screw it. Instead, I set the Deco again like an idiot. Should have never set this. Should have just summoned it. He draws it to his own Deco, so yep, it would have probably been a totally different game. So now he just knocks my Deco, which is unfortunate, and he draws into a Deco. Deco's everywhere. I draw a Solemn Judgment, so I would have just been fucking capitalizing like crazy, but he draws Cyber Jar, so okay. Well, no matter what, I've been fucked in. And then he draws Book of Moon. He would have just drew Cyber Jar anyways. He sets the Cyber Jar, sets the Book of Moon. I draw into Wing Blast. I set the Wing Blast. I swing over to Cyber Jar. He gets Tsukiyomi, Sinister, Ring, Regeki Break, and Chaos Orc. And I get Ring, which is dead. MST, which sucks. Knock, which sucks. Upstart, and Sangan. So really garbage fucking Cyber Jar there. Can't really do anything. I put everything back in my hand. And he decides just to summon the Sinister because he doesn't want to get it knocked. So, which is fine. Pretty nice play there. So I was definitely going to knock it. So I just run into the Sinister. He takes it, 700. And at this point, I just know I'm fucked no matter what. So I fire Upstart, maybe to get a card. I draw into a Night Assailant. I set the Night Assailant, set the MST, set the Ring, and just pass. He draws into BLS. So that was really nice. Really good draw for him right there. He gets the Sinister back. He banishes a Dark, banishes a Light, drops Chaos Sork on me. I decided to Solemn the Sork, which I probably shouldn't have. But I was thinking if I don't, he's just going to ring him and I lose. So I know he only has Sork. Maybe he doesn't have anything else. But of course, he top deck BLS on me. So it's really rough. He says no priority. I say okay. He tries to swing, and I decide just to Wing Blast it, put it back on top. Maybe save me a little bit. He sets the Ring first and sets the Regeki Break. And I should have went for the first one. That was my first thought. But I was like, yeah, let's go for the second one. Fuck it. Always go with your first instinct. And I didn't get his ring, and it's over. I don't play Book of Moon, so nothing I could do there. So we're on to game 2. Awesome. Now I rant a little bit, saying let's see if I can open even adds for this game. Triple Thunder Dragon, which, spoiler alert, I did not open too bad, but it was in. So I opened Double Wing Blast, Night Assailant, Duo, Upstart, and Torrential. He's got Sinister, Morphing Jar, Torrential, Cyber Jar, and Heavy Storm. So I decided to fire Duo. I pick a Sinister, which is nice for him. And I Upstart into Thunder Dragon, and he throws out Torrential as well. I get my Thunder Dragons back, or from my deck, and I decide to set Torrential and pass. He draws into Spy. So this is going to be a tough one to come back from. He's got both jars in his hand, and a Heavy, and a Spy. So let's see how he decides to play it. I forgot. He sets the Spy and just passes. I draw into a Deco. So I decide to set Deco and pass. He draws into Night Assailant. He flips the Spy up. Okay, I say that's fine. And he just goes into battle and swings into my Deco. And I draw into a Faith. Then he sets Morphing Jar and just passes. I draw into Mirror Force. So now I decide to set Faith and set Wing Blast. I Wing Blast and target the face down. He draws into Faith, and I get my Deco back. He goes into battle and swings, and I get Duo. Just say, fuck it, go for the Duo. He sets Cyber Jar and passes. I draw into Jar of Greed. So this is when it gets really bad here. I fire I fire Duo. I'm stupid. Fire Duo. I target Night Assailant. Again, shittiest target I could have targeted. Couldn't target the fucking Sinister or the Heavy. It would have been way better. So he just gets his Fate back. So I pretty much just made him just discard Night Assailant. That's pretty much what happened. I decided to set Jar of Greed and set Mirror Force and set Wing Blast. Should have never set his Mirror Force here. He draws into Morphing Jar. And of course he has Heavy. I get pissed the fuck off. Scream a little bit, I remember. And I Jar of Greed and chain the Wing Blast and put the Cyber Jar back on top. And he gets everything else. So at this point, it's not looking too good for me. I am completely fucked. But let's see what happens. He sets Morphing Jar again, so he's going for all kinds of good shit here. He hits into my Deco. I draw Jar of Greed. Then I draw a Graceful Charity. So now it's looking pretty damn good. I have no Sinister, of course. I fire Upstart. He's at 10k. I draw into Knock, which is a nice top deck. I Graceful Charity into Solemn, Deco, and Tribe. I decide to discard Jar of Greed and the Thunder Dragon. I knock the Morphing Jar. I summon the Tribe, clear up the Spies, hit him for 16, and set Solemn and just pass. So at this point, I know he has Faith and Sinister. That's it. And he top decks Pot of Greed. So that is nice. And I decide just to Solemn it. I'm like, fuck it. It ain't happening. Let's just, so I know you have the Faith, but whatever. I'm just going to go for it. I summon Kaiku off the top, which is a really good draw. Hoping that it's Sinister, but of course it's Faith. Hit him with the Kaiku, banish the Faith, and banish the Night Assailant. And just pass. He draws into a Knock, which is dead. He draws Jinzo and Deco, which is pretty dead. He sets the Deco and passes. I draw Mind Control right off the fucking top, which was fucking great. Flip the Deco, get to draw a card, draw on the Tsukiyomi. I just say fuck it, summon the Tsukiyomi, put it down. I put him on a 1-turn clock here. You better have it. Swing with fucking everything. Let's go. Banish all your monsters. You're at 2100. Draws into a Faith. He gets his Deco back. He decides to switch the Deco to defense and set the Faith. I probably would have just summoned Jinzo there, but he sets the Knock as a bluff. And now I just say, screw it, I'm going for it. Let's see it. I banish the Dark, banish the Light. Got pretty lucky. Top decking the Sork. I summon the Sork. And I just go into battle and say, you better have it. And he does not. So that is game 2. So we're on to game 3. Game 3 is crazy ass shit. Crazy. So he opens Morphing Jar, Book of Moon, Tsukiyomi, Pot of Greed, Thunder Dragon, and Call of the Haunted. He discards his Thunder Dragon. and gets 2 more. Then he fires Pot of Greed and draws Night Assailant and Spirit Reaper. So he sets the Spirit Reaper and sets Call of the Haunted and passes. I've got Deco, Kaiku, Solemn, Heavy, Ring, and Chaos Sword. So not the best hand, but let's see what happens. It's not about the hand, it's about the player. So it's not the hand you're dealt, it's the way you play it. So I decided to set Deco, set Ring, set Solemn. He draws into Premature Burial. At this point, we got 3 Watchers. He sets Book of Moon and sets Night Assailant and passes. I draw into Upstart Goblin. I say anything. He says no. So I decide to flip Deco first. And I draw 1 into a Wing Blast, which is fine. I fire the Upstart. And I draw into Solemn Judgment. I set Wing Blast and set the Solemn Judgment, and I just pass. I don't do any kind of anything. Then he draws into Cyber Jar. Okay, he flips Night Assailant and hits my Deco. I just say, okay, I got this double Solemn here. You got the Deco, that's fine. Then he flips Spirit Reaper and tries to get him for 300, and I instantly just ring it, and he chains Book of Moon on it to put it face down. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And he gets me for 200, and then he tries to summon Tsukiyomi, and I just say, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to Solemn Judgment it. Put me at 39, I'm not playing with Tsukiyomi, I gotta do it. I draw into Mind Control, which is pretty dead at the moment. I summon the Kaiku, and I swing over the Night Assailant, and I get to banish his Dark and Light, and get him for the 1600, and I just pass. He draws into Breaker. He summons Breaker, and I think about it, and I decide just to Solemn the Breaker. I'm like, fuck it. I'm not playing with no kind of shit. I'm just Solomon. I'm at 1950 now. Let's play ball. He's at 7400. He's got advantage on me pretty much, but he's really only got 5 with 2 Thunder Dragons, and I got 5. So, and he went first. I draw on a Night Assailant, which is pretty nice, because now I can clear his Spirit Reaper. So I decide just to Wing Blast and put the Reaper back on top, and I discard Night Assailant, and I hit him for 1800, and I banish the Night Assailant and the Breaker, and then I set the Deco, set the Heavy, and set the Mind Control and pass. He draws into the Spirit Reaper, which I thought it was. And then this is where it gets really crazy. He shuffles his hand and sets Cyber Jar. So now I draw Snatch Steal. I flip Deco. He says okay. And I draw into MST. I fire the Mind Control and I say checking. Now he's at 56 and I'm at 1950. And it's a Cyber Jar. So I'm just like, well, okay. Let's fucking play ball. I flip Cyber Jar. Okay. Boom. Everything blows up. He mills Spy, Regeki Break, Sinister, Deco, and Messenger apiece. Okay, so obviously he's going to put them all face down. I get Jar of Greed, Wing Blast, Graceful, Pot of Greed, and Card Destruction. So now I'm like, alright, I got to do some kind of something. Hopefully this can all just fucking form together and we can do this shit and kill him this turn. I got the Heavy face down. Let's just go for it. So, should have Heavied first, but instead, it didn't really matter because it was called on it. So it doesn't really matter, but it could have mattered. He could have had Solemn just to stop this whole plan. So, I fire Pot of Greed. He says okay. I draw into a Knock, and I draw BLS, which is pretty nice, okay? Then, I decide to fire Graceful. He says okay. I draw into Night Assailant, Thunder Dragon, and Magician of Faith. So, I say big thing, I discard Faith and discard Night Assailant, and I get the Night Assailant back to my hand. Okay? Then, I fire Heavy Storm. Just say, fuck it, let's just go for it. Heavy Storm. Okay? Then I discard Thunder Dragon, and I get 2 more. I knock the right one Spy, which was really fucking clutch. If I don't knock that Spy there, none of this shit works at all. Like, I just cannot fucking do this, what I'm about to do. So I decided to banish the dark, banish the light. I dropped the big boy, BLS. Then I banished the dark, banish the light. And I dropped the little boy, Chaos Sork. Then I just say, fuck it, I'm going for 7. Because all I need is knock and a monster, and it is over. Any monster will do it. So I draw Deco, Tsukiyomi, there's the monster, so now we just need knock. Duo, Mirror Force, Sengen, Upstart, and the last card is Nobleman of motherfucking Crossout. And he draws BLS, Monster Reincarnation, Sengen, Fate, Regeki Break, Heavy, and Mind Control. So he's on the crazy shit, crazies. I knock the Spirit, the Sinister. I summon the Dekochi, hit him with the BLS, attack directly for 3k, attack directly for 23, attack directly for 1400, and that is the game. Crazy ass shit. That fucking Cyberjar was clutch as shit. And the best part about the whole entire thing is, if he just sets Spirit Reaper, none of that shit happens at all. Like, all that crazy shit that happened that turn, never would have happened if he would have never just set Cyberjar to get greedy. All you had to do was just set Spirit Reaper, and that would have never happened. But that's just the way it is, people. Y'all hit the like, hit the sub. Hope you enjoyed this long video. This is a replay. I will be back. Make sure to hit the like, hit the sub for daily GOAT content. Peace out. Bye.